Good morning. Today is Saturday, January 24th, and this is an authentic conversation. I am Sonny Hamilton, and I'm joined here by my co-hosts.
Darren Hamilton.
John Walser.
And we have a little bit different podcasts, but it's always the same. We do a little bit of spiritual, a little bit of Christianity, a little bit of politics, but I'm going to let the guys kind of kick this off. I think this was something, John, that you had an idea about.
Well, we have talked about a little bit in prior podcasts about the Ten Commandments. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun to take one by one and just dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, we're just kind of gonna dissect them a little bit more because it seems so easy to miss words. John is really good at paying attention to language and noticing the language, and so I think it'll be fun to to get all three of our different perspectives because we're all kind of three at different levels, and that means our understanding's different, but our questions are different, and we're all here to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And the 10 Commandments can be found in Exodus 20.
Exodus 20. There's another place I want to say it's in Leviticus, but I don't have them pulled up.
Okay.
But,
well, that we know for sure is
Yeah.
Exodus 20. We've got that pulled up.
I
Yeah.
just pulled up the King James version on the internet. So
That's all. That's what I have too. So you'll find that when John and I read verses, it's out of the King James. Sonny, hers is a different version.
New Living Translation.
We all grew up with the King James, and so that's where I stick to it because it's what I'm comfortable with.
Yep,
And
me too.
And it's not that we're saying that one's better than the other. It honestly, it doesn't really
Just
matter.
personal preference.
Yeah. And for me, I like maybe it's because of the fact that for myself, I'm speaking for myself only, that because we were, no, go back to the King James.
It's the righteous one.
And, but I like the way that the New Living Translation says things. Sometimes it just says a little simpler, but it usually says the same thing. So it's the same, it's just said slightly different. Anyway, so Exodus 20, but you're reading it off the internet, right?
I am.
Okay.
King James Version. So the first one is, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me."
So, yeah.
So anyway, I guess maybe I'll preface it also before we get just into those, because the first two verses of Exodus 20 says, "And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." And
really quick,
yeah,
in the New Living Translation, it says, the Egypt was the place of your slavery.
yeah. So slavery,
enslaved.
bondage,
Mm-hmm.
words are a little bit different, but meaning is exactly the same. But that is, we've mentioned before how when God created man and woman in the Garden of Eden, that there was one law, and that one law was not to partake of the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Right.
And so we went from there to the 10 Commandments. People didn't, Adam and Eve, they didn't follow that one law. So then it went to the 10 Commandments, and now it's a Library of Congress that's full of laws. And so we keep wanting to find freedom. We keep hearing people quote that, the truth will set you free. Well, we need to, let's search for the truth, because we're not finding freedom. We're finding chaos. We're finding fighting. We're finding hate. We're fighting everything. And even if we would just get back to the 10 Commandments, it would solve literally all of the issues that we have. And that is, go ahead.
At the end of the fruits of the Spirit, it says something to the effect of, "and such." Let's see. Now I want to.
Yeah. all these verses, they come to our minds, and they're really clear in our minds until you go to spit them off your tongue and roll them off your tongue, and then they don't roll anymore.
And against such there is no law
Yeah.
with the fruits of the Spirit.
Peace, love,
Love.
joy.
Yep. Goodness, faith, meekness, temperance.
Temperance is not isn't it temperance the one that's not no gluttony, no addictions.
Yeah.
Temperance, just you're not dependent. Well, there again, you're not dependent on other gods.
Mm-hmm.
You're not having to feed your whatever it is, whether it's drugs, whether it's food, whether it's alcohol, whether it's
The abstinence of,
abstinence.
of
Yeah.
anything that's taken you away from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think about that. So that's kind of a segue into the first one that I think John read.
Yep.
What was it again there?
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Yeah. Read the next verses too here, because they kind of both go together, even though it's
So thou shalt make unto thee thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
And that's the King James, and then the New Living says, "I lay the sins of the parents upon their children. The entire family is affected, even children in the third and fourth generations of those who reject me." And then, "But I lavish unfailing love for 1,000 generations on those who love me and obey my commands." Obey.
Yeah, obey. That's the key. There's always that one little caveat there that we always have to obey. And if we look at it, we cannot honestly, with any level of integrity, say that God is lavishing us with these blessings in our country.
Mm-mm.
I mean, we
In
can't
the world.
in the world. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Other
matter where
countries
it
are
is.
having the same problem.
Yeah,
Or
and
worse.
and we can all jump up and down, go, "Oh, that's mean. That God, he's a mean God. He's a jealous God. Really? We're not supposed to be jealous." Well, it's some of us. I've kind of mentioned this before, but some of us who have kids that other men have stepped in and taken our place as the father.
Mm-hmm.
We understand how it feels to have somebody else in control of your children. In mine, it was kind of a ministry. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Another man.
Yeah, it wasn't another man per se. It was a ministry, but and there were relatives too. Honestly, but it angers you, and so I can relate to God being a jealous man. No, he wants to be my father. He wants to be our father. He wants to, there's a verse that comes to me, I think it's in one of the Psalms, but it says, "Forget not all his benefits."
And, when you talk about fathers who are being replaced, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, my father died when I was 4. And my mom did not get remarried. She never remarried. She had the love of her life, and she didn't care to get married again. Not that she wasn't tempted. She just did not, just never did. And I'm sure she was lonely, but we had uncles who stepped in and became that father figure for us. And I remember one thing I will say is I remember a time I had an uncle, his name was Jim. And my younger sister and I were sitting in the back seat of his convertible, my mom was in the front seat, and Uncle Jim was driving, and we had those candy cigarettes. And I am not judging anybody.
Nummy spearmint
Yep.
cigarettes.
Not judging anybody by what you do or anything, but
Had plenty of them.
but we had those candy cigarettes, and we thought it was really cool, and we were eating, taking our candy and sucking on them, but making it look like we were smoking. And he stopped the car, he pulled over to the side of the car, and he was turned around and he said, "I'm just so ashamed of you." And I probably was maybe 8. Oh my gosh, that just crushed me. That didn't stop me from trying again
She was a little older.
when I was older, but it just never stuck because I couldn't stand the taste. But they didn't taste anything like the candy cigarettes. If they had, I probably would have been stuck.
Yeah.
I probably would have been hooked. But since they didn't taste anything like the candy cigarettes, it didn't. But anyway, just talking about yes. But
We
I can
need-
see where fathers who are separated from the mother
hmm
and the father's still alive, how they can feel.
Yeah.
And that's how God feels.
That is exactly. I think we'd be much better off if we would allow ourselves to view God in the human level, so to speak. We would understand him a lot better. We'd understand why he does. He wants to give us everything.
hmm
But if we're disobedient, it always comes back to the same thing where you've got to obey. Well, if you don't want to obey, there again, I've got child that I don't have a relationship with. It's not that I don't want to have a relationship with that child. It's just I don't have a relationship. I don't know anything I know absolutely literally nothing that is going on in their life.
hmm
Well, I can't be giving to them because I don't even know what they need. I
Mhm.
can't. A relationship is a give and take, where because I have other kids that it's very giving. I'd give the shirt off my back to help them.
And you would for this child too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I shed tears for that child. It's not that it's ridiculous, but anyway, that's how God feels. Once I was able to view God in human form and realize that God just wants a family, just like we want a family. Sonny understands pain that I don't understand because she wanted children. She never got to have children. Fortunately, she gets to live a little bit vicariously now through my kids and having grandkids and that kind of thing. But if we would allow ourselves to see God through the eyes of a family, we would understand all this stuff so much better, and we wouldn't have our pissy attitudes towards him that no, he's mean because this, that, and the next thing.
Yeah. So should we get back to?
Sure.
Okay.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. For the
And
Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
so the New Living says you must not misuse the name of the Lord your God. The Lord will not let you go unpunished if you misuse his name.
hmm
Same thing. It's just
Yeah, how I've come to see this completely different than there again how I was taught, because we were taught that if you say GD it or something, well, I've failed many times in regards to that, but using his name in vain, I don't believe anymore that it has to do with using his name.
literally using his
yeah,
name.
it's saying that I believe in him when I don't believe in him.
Yeah.
If
You-
my words and my actions do not back up
hmm
my level of belief in him, and if if I'm going to the false gods, if I'm going to money to solve all my problems, if I'm going to the government to solve all my problems, then we're using his name in vain because
Mhm.
he wants to do that stuff for us,
Yeah. Or saying that he doesn't exist.
or saying that he doesn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which honestly, if we're going to the government, if we're going to
We're
money,
basically saying that.
we're saying the same exact
Mhm.
thing because
Just not in words coming out of our mouth.
it's not the words coming
And
out.
It's
and
action.
and don't get us wrong in that we're not saying don't you have to work, you have to earn an honest wage, not rioting in the streets. But you have to
Getting George
earn
Soros money.
you have to earn an honest day's wage. You have to go in and support your family. You've got to put food on the table. You need to have different things that money, it takes money to do.
Living in our society, we have
And we're
I
not
have money.
saying don't invest in gold or silver or whatever. We're not saying that. We're saying don't worship those things
Big difference.
above God because it's
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 a
not
very
going to
deep
bless your
subject.
life.
Yeah, we have to still be
Yeah.
man among men.
You got to be moderate in everything you do. So just remember that we're not saying don't earn money, don't you got to do that, but you also got to have. So anyway,
So remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labor and do thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and has rested the seventh day. Wherefore the law of the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
and in the New Living it says, and this is why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart as holy. So
Mhm.
hallowed. We hear a lot about different religions. They talk about there's a app about Hallow. I think it's Hallow, and I think it's one that maybe the Catholics look at a lot. Probably not just Catholics, but anyway. But it's basically holy, Hallow. So
Yeah, I'm not aware of the app. That's interesting. But the holy days, like the Sabbath day, there again, like most things I've come to see, the Sabbath day is something completely different. We've always, there are those churches that believe that now they're the one right way because they still worship on the Sabbath day, which is Saturday, and everybody that worships on Sunday, they're wrong because they don't worship on Saturday. And God was very clear that we were supposed to worship on Saturday, but I see it completely different anymore, where
you
we're
worship every day.
we're supposed to worship 7 days a week, and we're supposed to rest on the Sabbath day. Well, I may be wrong on this, but I don't think it matters if we choose to rest on Monday or if we choose to rest on Tuesday or which day we choose to rest on.
And some of it depends on your job. Like okay, say nurses for instance, they have maybe 3 days on, 4 days off, or somebody works swing shift, or you have to provide for your family, but you got to make time to also worship God. And so the day that you decide to devote to the day that you're going to set aside to rest.
Our body, everything needs a rest.
Mhm.
The ground needs a rest. Everything needs a rest. We're not designed to just work. And I don't I don't have this completely dialed in my own life yet
Well,
as
and
to choosing a day of rest, but
so it even said even the cattle,
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
you
yeah,
know.
yep.
So the way I understand that, they're going to get to fast for one day. There's, I mean, if they're inside of a barn lot where you're having to feed them,
how true.
that
Yeah,
is, I
yeah, I
had
hadn't thought
never
about that.
thought about that.
So
So,
yeah, everything needs a rest period. If we don't, if you look at it, actually, it's kind of interesting because if you don't learn to take rest, time of rest, then your body will shut down and it will force you through illness
oh
to
yeah,
take a rest. And so, there again, most of these commandments, it doesn't matter if you believe in God, if you don't believe in God, if you think it's all just phony. Um, if you've got any level of common sense, you can see most of this stuff that
hmm
the validity of it.
Okay.
honor thy father and thy mother, that in thy days may be long upon the earth, the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
That's pretty much the same thing it says in the New Living.
Mm-hmm.
But, you see people who, yeah, I've seen children who are so disrespectful to their parents. And it just sickens me. I can't understand how uh, people can raise children to be that way. But then on the other hand, there are some parents who are,
It's there again. It's probably how they were raised. They're up further in these commandments, you look at how many generations.
Yep.
We have a huge responsibility to our kids to raise them up in the ways of the Lord, and they will not
Mm-hmm.
depart when they are old.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be really figuring out and focusing on what are the ways of the Lord, because there again, our children, we want them to live a long life on the earth. We don't want to lose them young. Um, there's
people always say their kids are supposed to live longer than they are.
yeah. Well, we should be. uh, uh, That's the God I want to serve. Is the God that wants. Because there's another passage somewhere else that talks that it's a promise that we will know our children's children. Well, I how am I going to know my children's children if my children die young? And that seems really harsh in a lot of people's brains, but it's not harsh. It's actually amazing love that God is holding out to us. No, He wants us to know our children's children.
Mm-hmm.
He wants our children to live a long life on the earth. He wants us to live a long life on the earth. And so we need to, there again, it's following His laws, commandments, and statutes. If that's not happening, we need to ask ourselves why and dig.
Okay.
Then
So,
Romans 8:28, because it kind of goes along with what you were just saying, in my mind anyway. And we know that all things work together for the good to them that love God, and to them who are called according to His purpose.
yeah, boom. There again, earlier it said that if we love Him, what to say, something to the effect, we love if we keep His commandments or something to that effect.
Mhm.
must obey his
Yeah.
commandments.
So that is what love is. Love isn't just accepting every wrong behavior, every goofy behavior that everybody wants to believe is correct. Love is actually believing what God believes is correct.
Yeah. So, which goes to those other verses that we were reading earlier, too. So, Galatians chapter 5, verse 14, it starts, and it says, for all the laws fulfilled in one word, love,
Yeah, boom.
even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yeah. So how do we love? We love our neighbor by keeping God's commandments.
And that's interesting that we talk about neighbors because that's what the rioters in Minnesota are saying. You're taking our neighbors. And some of them are traveling hours to get to some place where they're fighting for somebody
Sure.
they don't even know.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, and it we heard just recently that there's these, okay, and I don't mean to pick on one specific group of people, but but there's a lot of liberal white women out there, and it is really disgusting to watch the level of uh, anger, and these people have absolutely, you feel kind of bad for them because they have no peace in their life. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you're out doing the things that they're doing, you don't have peace. Your life is miserable. And, but these people are out there. And I think a couple podcasts ago, we talked about, Amy mentioned that Minnesota nice is a real thing. I'm kind of thinking it's not Minnesota nice anymore.
Probably in the country.
Yeah, maybe in the country, but in the rural areas. But it's not really Minnesota nice. It's Minnesota mean. And it's Minnesota, what was the other thing I was thinking of? Minnesota mean and ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just the one thing we're talking about, treating thy neighbor as thyself and stuff. The ICE agents have gone to a Mexican restaurant and they were just verbally assaulted by patrons.
Run out.
Yeah, they had to leave because they were verbally assaulted by. So if there's any conservatives in Minnesota and the Minneapolis area, or any of these blue states, and we live in a blue state, so we may be called upon at some point, but we're calling on conservatives in these blue cities that somehow or other need to raise up, organize, help to feed the ICE officers. They need a safe place to go to eat without being doxxed. So that's what I have to say.
Yep. Yeah, no,
So
it's true. There again, what they're doing back there, they're pretending to love their neighbor by standing up for them. I mean, the white liberal women. But if you look at the definitions that the Bible holds out as to what love is, it's not what love is. And so there again, it's not fixing the problem.
no,
It's
the
not
other
creating
thing
peace.
they've been doing is Nick Shirley. He's a 23-year-old YouTube journalist, and they plastered his face all over these different posters and put him up on telephone poles and telling people to target him, hurt him. I mean, read that verse again, would you?
The last one,
Mm-hmm.
love thy neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this. So I'll go back one verse.
Okay.
It'll give a little more context.
Okay.
Okay. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty, only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
So that's a good thing, and I can go back and I can apply it as well, and I should. Is I'm calling out the liberal white women, but I'm just saying is that if I were to, I don't think I would be. Well, I know I would not be calling for their deaths. I don't call for their deaths. I don't call for anything, any harm to come to them. But when they put themselves in such a situation where they're putting their life in jeopardy, eh, that is on them. If I were to put myself in such a situation that I put my life in jeopardy and start fighting for something that really doesn't affect my everyday life,
Yeah. So this goes for both sides.
it does.
Look,
Yeah.
if you're in one of the states that these operations are going on in, and you see agents of the government, regardless of who they are, please turn around and drive away.
Yeah,
It
no
doesn't
kidding.
matter what side of the aisle you're on.
Mm-hmm.
Let these gentlemen and women, if there's any women ICE officers, I don't know,
I
but
think there are.
l-
There are
let,
because we've seen them.
let these people in government do their jobs and let it be sorted out.
And go do your own job.
And what's that?
I say, and go do your own
And
job.
and you know,
Yes.
and that's a good point because um, this is the thing: is if you have something that you want to get across, go to Congress.
Well, there's
Go
yes,
petition your people. You know,
there's much better ways to deal with stuff like that rather than putting yourself, a civilian, in the middle of something that you don't belong in. I mean, you are taking your own life in your own hands,
Mhm.
and
Don't take a car to a gunfight.
and don't take a knife to a gunfight. Yes,
Don't take a car.
don't take a car. Yeah, I
And,
got
you
it.
know, and it's like they've talked about is they say guns kill. Well, the gun itself
It's an inanimate object. I
does
could
not
set it
kill.
here on the table, pointed at any one of us, it would not go off. A gun on its own is useless.
A car on its own,
Is
sitting
useless.
parked, doing nothing is useless.
There's 3 of them right out here in the
Yeah.
front, and
And
they've
they're
been
not
sitting
hurting
there.
anybody.
They've been nice. They've been quiet. No,
Uh, uh,
there's just so much more to this that I don't think that people realize, the ones that are putting themselves in the way of our ICE officers. Doesn't matter which state.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They don't realize, once again, we're operating under a continuity of government,
Mm-hmm.
and so the rules are different. The rules of engagement are different for them than it is if it's a constitutional republic. So keep in mind that you're putting your own life in danger, and nobody's going to care. You're just
Or
going
your
to be one of the.
children, if you have
True.
children in the back, or your dog.
But just let them do their jobs. That's
Yeah.
the main thing. Just
Right.
don't even go there. Just let them do their jobs.
there again, if people followed these 10 commandments,
You wouldn't
would-
have this.
we would not even be having this
No,
conversation.
We wouldn't.
Mm-mm.
Even the next commandment there,
Yeah, thou
which I
shalt
know
not kill.
it makes all of us uncomfortable because both John and I have concealed carry permits.
Yep.
I don't think Sonny does. I don't think you
Mm-mm.
do you? But she
I live in
Sh-
Idaho. I don't need one.
exactly. But still, it's really anytime I've ever brought this subject up, it always makes all of us 2A people incredibly uncomfortable because, well, you're saying that if somebody comes into my home that I'm supposed to just
No.
take it. But there again, keep in mind, we're supposed to follow God's laws, commandments, and statutes. And if we're following his laws, commandments, and statutes, we will have the angelic realm protecting us from everything but persecution. Jesus was protected from everything except persecution, as far as suffering goes, except persecution. And he died from persecution. We need to be okay with dying from persecution, but not okay with, there again, do unto others, thou wouldst have them do unto you. If you live by the sword, you often die by the sword. And it may be a different looking sword, but that needs to be our focus. Is we need to be focused on gaining the angelic protection so that we don't have to shoot somebody, and we need to be on the other side and living under God's laws so we don't get shot being
Right.
stupid.
So, in that respect, if somebody does break into your home and threatening you, your family, or whatever, of course you have the right to defend yourself. That is
Yeah, you
not
have
what we're talking about.
no, you have the right, but I'm not sure that not sure. I mean, if somebody broke into our home, yes, I would shoot them. I hate to say it, but I would. But there again, I'm a little queasy on the whole thing because it doesn't say thou shalt not kill unless you feel threatened, unless. And so thou shalt not is really pretty clear. I mean, all the
It
thou
is,
shalt
but on the other
nots.
hand, if evil comes at you, you do have to, uh, it, you have to. If somebody actually is coming in to, comes in to harm you personally, they're coming in to harm you. That's one thing. So yeah,
I-
it can be
is
it
it?
can be a bit. But
Is it? I mean, it's a good conversation, but is
you have
it?
a right to defend yourself. I didn't
Do we-
say kill. I said defend yourself.
Right. Oh, so we shoot him in the leg.
Well, that's not killing.
Lest they bleed out on your floor. So anyway,
I suppose.
it's
Okay.
Well, so the distinction that in law,
God's laws or man's laws.
man's law, is if someone comes into your home and you point a gun at them, but you don't pull the trigger, and they turn around and walk out the door, you can't pull the trigger
Right.
because that threat has been
eliminated.
Left.
eliminated.
Right.
So that's man's law.
Right.
Um,
So you can see this is a subject that even we're a little bit queasy on, but I'm just saying if we want the promises that are held out to us, then we probably should figure it out. And fortunately, most of us don't ever have to worry about shooting somebody. We would shoot them, unfortunately, but we don't have to worry about shooting them.
Okay.
we
so
live in an area we don't have to worry about that too much.
No, not near as much,
yeah.
fortunately.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
So this is a topic that is
Another hot topic.
another hot topic that is quite often misused, and
We've all three of us have had it misused against us.
Yep.
Mhm. So
We have
according to some ministers that I talked to, I asked them. So I've been told if I get divorced, I can't get remarried, and they're like, "Well, that depends on." In the church we grew up with, it didn't matter. It was like if you get remarried, depending on where you lived, if you lived in Colorado or some of those places,
East
then-
Coast.
or the East Coast, then they were a little more lenient. Oklahoma, different places like that, they were a little more lenient if you got remarried. But the West Coast, see, it was not consistent across the board. And God is very consistent. So, but he in this minister said, no, you're not allowed to get remarried if you just chose to leave for no reason, just we're not compatible anymore, or whatever. But I mean, that was what he told me. But I have since, had the revelation that God's not that. I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem God is saying, don't get remarried. He's saying, don't be committing, don't be doing something with somebody who's not your spouse, basically.
Right. And I kind of became one of the things that helped me become clear on it was understanding what a wife is. Adultery is against a wife. I mesh we often
or
hear
a husband.
yeah, or a husband. we often hear fornication, adultery kind of being used together. But to me, I came to see fornication as like the hookup scene. It all comes down to relationship, whether it's not the act that makes something an adulterous relationship or a fornication relationship, it's the lack of relationship. And so you can't, if somebody doesn't want to be your wife, then she's not a wife. If you're committing adultery against somebody who is a legitimate wife and husband, they're laid out extremely clear as to what a wife is and what a husband is. They're specific things that make them a wife or a husband. And so I don't think it, you can't commit adultery against somebody who's not your wife. So if you have a wonderful wife and somebody is coveting, I mean, that's a little bit further down here, but you can't covet that wife. The wife is. So anyway, I see adultery completely different. It's not, well, that person wears my ring and has a piece of paper on the wall saying that she's my wife. Well,
Yeah.
that doesn't make her jack squat. That just
Right.
makes her another woman who's controlling you because that piece of paper gives her a bunch of control.
Yep.
It
I
doesn't.
go back to Isaac and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They didn't sign a piece of paper.
no.
So we got about less than 20 minutes left.
Okay.
So thou shalt not steal. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very straightforward.
And it goes back to what happened in 2020 with regards to George Floyd. Everybody broke in and stole and
Looting.
vandalized and looted it. Yeah. And what are they doing when this woman, Renee Good, when she got shot for advancing and not obeying the law? When she did not obey the law, they specifically told her, get out of the car. And when she chose to disobey that, she took the law into her. I mean, but I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, yeah. So again, the people are going in and looting and vandalizing. They went in and vandalized a whole hotel and lobby, and it was horrible. I don't know. Maybe they're doing more. We just haven't heard about it, but it's just a lot of crap going on.
Well,
So
this is going to come up in the 10th, but I'm going to go back up to the 7th. And don't steal your neighbor's wife or don't steal your neighbor's husband.
Yeah.
If they're married, they're not on the market to be stolen.
Right.
but
I
they're
think.
true.
Yeah, I think we sometimes forget what stealing is. I had a really amazing experience myself because I was my camper, I was in it, and somebody broke in and stole. I had a big screen on the dash. It was just a backup camera, but they probably figured
This
that
was in your trailer?
in my old camper trailer when I had the camper.
Okay.
And so anyway, they broke the side window and stole that. And so as I was driving down, of course, it was in the middle of winter, and so I'm having to go to work because that's what I do. I go to work regardless. And I remember asking, what have I stolen? And so anyway, I never really got an answer. But then that night, I pulled up all the verses: steal, stole, stolen in the Bible, and I came across this exact verse. It said, well, it's a different list, but it said, "Thou shalt not steal. Doth thou steal?" And it's like, oh wait, what? And I had to remember because our vehicle had been broken in, and a little snub-nosed 38 revolver had been stolen. It was under the seat, and there was some other stuff. And when I made the insurance claim, I thought at the time that there was a little Palm Pilot, if you remember those, that I thought was in the bag also. Well, I found the Palm Pilot later, but I never disclosed that to the. So, doth thou steal? Well, honestly, I stole a Palm Pilot from the insurance company. And how many times do we think that it's okay to defraud insurance companies or defraud whoever? And I think thou shalt not steal. I think it's really important to look within our lives, because there again, do unto others thou wouldst have them do unto you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't look within your own life for where you're breaking these commandments, then you're going to have the garbage happen to you. And we don't want, I don't like stuff being stolen from me. And so that's how I try to live. I try not to steal.
So my landlord the other day, she, the garage door needed a new digital push button, kind of like what you have on your camper. And so I said, okay. So she handed me the receipt to the old one. And there was like $2 and some odd cents. There was like 3 or 4 pennies in there. And I handed her the receipt, and I handed her the $2 and all those pennies. And it's just not worth it.
No, it's not worth
I
it.
mean, she says, oh, just don't worry about it. And if she says that, fine,
Right.
because that's coming from her.
Yeah.
But I never assume.
Mm-hmm.
I think of how many times in the past I walked out of, I don't care if it was a grocery store or Home Depot or what, and realized when I got to the car, oh, wow, I jacked that whatever. It could have been something dinky. And once I figured this out, then I started going back in, and it was kind of fun to see the people's reaction. Wow, you came back in for that.
Yeah, it takes me back. After graduation, I worked at a big box store, and I was a cashier, and somebody went through, and I'm like, I don't remember if it was a man or a woman, but anyway, I'm like, okay, hold on, I there's something wrong here, and they got so angry with me. No, I did not. I paid you the exact amount, and I'm like going, no, I've got, you gave me too big of a bill, and I need to give you some change back. Oh, they were so angry they would not listen to me,
Funny.
and I'm like, I owe you money, and I don't remember. She was so angry. I think with the woman, she was so angry she stormed out of there. I guess in her mind, I was telling her she owed more. And so I'm calling my supervisor. What do I do? I'm going to be over a lot because this person would not take their money. And so as long as I documented it, but it's kind of interesting how some people
Different people react.
Mhm.
That is funny.
Yeah. There's not even a penny that's worth taking.
No.
Oh, and some
No.
places now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but some places, I've got into a place where they said
They're
we don't.
rounding up.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
we round up
Mhm.
or round down.
Whatever's in the customer's favor.
Right, exactly. So anyway, but I'm like, okay, well, hold on, I've got some pennies here. I'm like, we don't deal with pennies, and I'm like, oh, okay. So now, if you're using a charge, they're going to collect everything,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
But if it's cash, a lot of places don't want to deal with pennies. Well, that's
Sure.
partly because it's not worth it. The
No.
pennies aren't worth it. They're not. And I think they're probably going to eventually get rid of them. But
Oh, I'm
anyway,
sure over time.
okay. I
So
think
the
there's
next
one
one.
more, right?
Yes, thou shalt not
Yep.
bear false witness against thy neighbor.
And here it says you must not covet your neighbor's wife, which is
No,
what.
that's the
Well,
next one.
that's the
That's the
next
next one.
one.
Oh, the next
Yeah,
one.
there's
Yeah.
2. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Once again,
Okay.
stay out of your neighbor's business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't accuse them. Don't accuse them
Oh,
of
you
garbage.
must
Yeah.
not testify falsely against your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't accuse them of stuff just to get them in trouble.
Yep.
I guess that's kind of how I interpret it anyway.
The thing that comes to mind, because we've talked about 2A a little bit, red flag laws.
I don't know what
you-
those are.
So red flag law is, oh well, Mr. Hamilton over there, he was kind of yelling at his wife the other day,
Oh,
and I think he could, I think he's got firearms. I don't know if
Oh,
that's all it takes.
oh yeah, I can believe it.
And then they come in and they take everything that you have, and it takes years to get it back, if you even get them back.
yeah, it's falsely.
Wow.
Yeah, falsely accusing
So,
someone.
so
I wonder how much
don't,
that you think about that, even from you guys' love for politics stuff. How much is that happening? And honestly, from both sides, where bearing false witness, accusing,
well, you
uh,
see it in
uh,
drive-by media all the time.
yeah, accusing the other side of
Mhm.
doing things just to manipulate them, just
Oh,
to
sure.
manipulate the news cycle.
Right.
The House and the Senate. Oh, absolutely. They're
Yeah,
all the time doing it.
yeah,
And
And
it's on both sides. We've
yeah.
talked about this before. Is the Democrats, and there are Republicans who are doing that too. We will tell you right up front. There are rhinos.
and
eh,
dinos.
I'm sure there are, but there are rhinos in there who are now. I'm guessing that on the Democrat side, that the Democrats probably don't like John Fetterman
I
too
was just going to
much.
say
Yeah.
he has really impressed me lately.
I mean, the man is he just stands up for what he feels is
Yeah,
right,
he
Right.
does.
and he doesn't. I mean, he's not.
And that's
I,
after having
he
a
feels
stroke.
like it. Yeah, I know.
Maybe that's what
He
they all
feels.
need.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
he
kidding, right?
feels like a MAGA. He does, but I know he's not. But he feels like it. So
But he's standing up, like I say, he's standing up for what he believes, whether we
right.
agree with everything that he says or not, doesn't
Yeah, I'm
matter.
sure I don't agree with everything
yeah,
that he says, and it's the same way, with even Republicans and MAGA. I don't agree with everything everybody says. I mean, even here, we may not all three agree, but we all,
Sure.
have the same. So anyway,
yeah.
Well, yeah. And then there's Rand Paul. That's a total rhino.
yeah,
Totally did not expect that at all. But
I did
anyway,
not expect Josh Hawley.
no, I did not either.
I'm really disappointed in
Yeah.
that.
I don't know him.
He's in Missouri, I think,
Yes.
and
You,
it
you haven't
just
roped me into watching one of those videos, I guess.
no. But Josh Hawley has been really strong, and you talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, there are people who were not really
Mega.
MAGA.
Well, it said that we're going to find out and that'll happen.
Mhm. And
Yep.
that's what's happening. They're figuring out who's truly MAGA. Anyway,
Okay, last one. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass,
or
nor
donkey.
anything, yep, nor anything in thy neighbor's house.
So that's
It-
where I think the New Living Version, it says a little bit nicer. It says your donkey.
Yeah.
We can't like somebody's ass. My bad.
Darn it. I hate that when that happens.
I honestly think that comes down to don't covet them for their blessings.
Oh,
Don't covet them for their blessings.
yeah.
If we don't know. I mean, money can be a blessing or it can be a curse. But
Yep.
but if your household is together and it's a peaceful household and you're not stressing about everything in your life, godliness with contentment is great gain. If you're living a life that other people are coveting, there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah.
It's not just because you're being unless you are being evil. Then,
Yeah.
but I don't think too many decent people covet what evil people gain. What it's so. So anyway, that's how I see
even
it.
if they're really rich and you know they're evil, I wouldn't want any part of it.
No, no. I mean, most rich people, honestly, I wouldn't really want what they have. And you look at people that win lotteries, and most of the time their lives are so screwed up, it's unbelievable. But anyway, we're supposed to. There again, if we're following God's laws, commandments, and statutes, He's gonna bless us.
Yep.
He's gonna bless us with a long life. He's gonna bless us with a good wife. He's a good husband. He's gonna bless us with a peaceful home. He's gonna bless us. We're not gonna
Yep.
be struggling from month to month,
And not
paycheck to
with
paycheck.
not with the intent that we're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
No,
Right,
I think
right.
there again.
It'll be
That's
an
coveting.
individual thing.
Yeah, that's coveting
Yep.
when you're
Trying to keep up with the
yeah,
Joneses.
when you're trying to. So when we're serving God, our lives will be different.
Mm-hmm.
Hit
Could be or keep up with the Smiths.
the
Right.
Smiths instead of the Joneses.
Keep up with the Johnsons.
That's right.
Keep up with us Hamiltons.
Us Hamiltons.
Yeah.
That's right. So anyway,
The Walzers.
I don't know. The Waltzers. That's right. Let's see. Did we cover it all?
I think we did.
Yeah. So anyway, I think those laws are important. I think it's great. I think
Mhm.
it's great that we dove a little bit deeper into it. You guys all brought up things I hadn't thought about. And I think we all brought up things that we hadn't really thought about in regards to them. But
Sure.
man,
Well,
imagine life where we only had 10.
I would
Sorry, John.
go ahead.
It's unsanitary to take words out of somebody else's mouth.
I was going back to the Garden of Eden,
Yeah.
but can you imagine? First of all, can you imagine had Adam and Eve actually, for lack of better ways of putting it, towed the line?
Right. But what's more important than that, I was just explaining this to Sonny the other day, because they screwed up.
Yep.
But look exactly what they did. And they hid from God.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't own it.
They saw their own nakedness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they saw their own nakedness and they hid.
They didn't
Well-
realize they were naked before.
No,
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
Because they didn't have that knowledge.
No.
Yeah.
But once they partook of the tree of good and of knowledge,
Knowledge of
then
good
they
and
had
evil.
the knowledge that
Yeah.
they were naked, and but they never repented. All they did was blame. They blamed Eve. She blamed the serpent. Adam blamed that woman that you gave me.
Mm-hmm.
It's always somebody else's fault rather than just
Fessing
taking.
up.
Yeah, own it. They could have broke that curse, and that's what I keep yip-yapping about. We've got to break the curse rather than continuing for how many hundred generations? It tells us right here, for generations. Well, we've kept it going for who knows how many generations.
So, on another topic.
Really quick.
Yeah, really quick. Amy asked what your flags mean.
Okay, so the one here to my left is the peace flag, and
Okay.
the stripes are actually not like the war flag. They're actually
yeah.
vertical.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I had not even noticed that. Oh, how wild. Just need longer arms, Sonny.
Yeah, that's okay.
If
And
we get
then-
it, we can see it good enough.
And the other
So,
one,
if we were not, quote unquote, at war, this is the flag that should be flying. But once again, we're under continuity of government. So this flag cannot drape a casket, and at this particular point in time cannot be flown above the White House.
Wow.
This
Maybe we
is
should
just my regular war flag, but it's just camouflage in black just because I
okay.
like camo.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go.
Let's yearn for the peace
So,
flag.
So the one behind Darren is a war
17.
flag.
Hold on a minute. I want to get the year right.
Should we sing while we're waiting? Oh, say, can you see?
Oh no.
uh, I don't know what John's looking for.
I want to say it was 1799 when peace flag originated, but I will
Yeah,
look that
maybe the
up.
next time.
The civil flag. I will look that up, and then I will bring it into another podcast and have
Okay.
that date correct.
Sounds good.
So
All right. So this concludes our podcast for today.
Let-
And
thank
let
you
us know
all.
if you know if you kind of like this different format. We're gonna try to do some little different things.
but we really need some feedback from
yeah,
you guys.
really need feedback.
Is what we're covering what you guys want to hear? Have you already seen the things that we're telling you about? Have you not seen them? Have you seen other things that are helpful to us that we haven't seen? Is there other podcasters out there that we could be listening to that would help us? We need to see all of that. So, and we need to know if you guys like it. So,
And if you want to come on the show with us, well,
That'd be fun.
hey, yeah, we'll have you call in.
mhm, we can have-
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of
So
fun.
at some point, hopefully, we can do lives, but we're just not quite there yet.
I would have enough viewership to have lives. So
yeah, and we would need advance notice, so it would probably be in a future one.
Sure.
But
so anyway,
But yeah, so anyway, thank you for watching, but please like, share, comment, and again,
let
keep
us
it
know.
real
Yep, keep it real.
and
Keep
keep
it
it authentic.
authentic.
Bye.